We are recording. You are going to go along. I call to order. Starting now. Use your gavel, remember. At 4:37, I call to order. And I'll call this meeting of the Student Senate General Assembly to order at 4:37 p.m. Ask for roll call now. All right, we will begin roll call. So if you are virtual, please say aye. As well as in person, please say aye so we can go ahead and keep track. So, joining the Executive Council, President Kai Brito, excused. Vice President of Administration and Finance, Yolong Tao. Present. Vice President of Legislative Affairs, Hassan Hashmi.
Present.
Vice President of Team Development, Nahaya Salifu.
Present.
Vice President of Public Relations, Melina Magosha.
Present.
Advisor Cole Calio Prado. Present. Moving on to Truax Campus Senators. Senator Angel Avila.
Aye. Present.
Senator Sierra Brunner. Excused, wanted to make sure. Excused. Senator Ibrahima Kamara.
Present.
Thank you. Senator Layla Jacobson. Senator Jacobson. You're absent. Senator Margaret Juf. Margaret Juf. Absent. Senator Justin Oviedo. Absent. Senator Patricio Tinoco. Absent. Senator Cameron Wilkin.
Present.
Thank you. Moving on to Regional Metro Campus Senators. Supported Senator Annette Crowder.
Present.
Reedsburg Senator Stacy Brunner. They are excused. Fort Atkinson Senator Landon Dirks.
Present.
Goodman South Senator Sylvia Bissonette. Sylvia? And then Senator Juf, I do see that you are present. Roll call has been completed. Is quorum met? Quorum is not met. Second, we're having more individuals join. I want to confirm that we can have them present. Senator Bissonette. Present. Okay. Quorum is now met.
It's met now, right?
It is now met.
Welcome to our General Assembly meeting of Madison College Student Senate. This is a public meeting and it will be recorded for transparency and record keeping purposes. We are now going to cover a few basic items before beginning. If you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling the number in your original email. To senators and other members online, please activate your video and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. If it is possible, use the raise hand feature when you would like to be recognized to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote. As chair, I will do my best to call on committee members in the order in which hands are raised. Lowering your hand will take you out of the queue. And Advisor Guo, can you pull up the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
I will second that.
Is there any discussion? So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed say,
I
those opposed say no. Minutes approved. We pull up the agenda.
Chairperson Tao. With point of order. When you are identifying who makes the motion in the second, do make sure you're saying their last name so that we can keep track of it for the minutes, okay? Yeah, doing a good job. Second.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Senator Wilkin raised his hand.
I motion to approve the agenda.
Senator Wilkin. Do we have a second?
I can second.
Me. I approve.
So second by Senator
Senator
Chu.
Yu. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say no.
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda approved. Before we move to public comments, I want to remind all of us about the office hour. So, office hour updates, ends this Sunday. So please remember to update your office hour log. And we're moving to public comment. So, so the guest we have today is Executive Vice President, Student Affairs, Dr. Tim Casper, and Dean of School of Technologies and Trades, Lucas White, and the Dean of School of Engineering, Science, and Mathematics, Kevin Myers. Our first guest will be Dr. Casper. The floor is yours now.
I'll defer to my colleagues, School of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math.
All right.
Good.
Do you need me to stand somewhere?
No, so our camera is picking you up, so, I will stop sharing. Do you have anything you'd like me to provide? Otherwise, I think we should pick you up.
Okay. Where is that
Top
camera?
of that screen, way up.
Oh, at top of the screen there. Okay. Got it.
See, Senator Drew raised his hand.
Okay. Continue.
It's a
All
mistake.
right,
Let me
well-
put it down.
Please continue.
All right. Well, good evening or late afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin Myris. My last name rhymes with the virus. That's how you're going to remember it from now on. And I'm the Dean for the School of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics here at Madison College. And I was sent a few questions to speak about, and I have some thoughts about those, but if people want to ask me questions right now, I'm happy to answer them. Or at any time while I'm speaking, if you have a question, please feel free to stop me and ask for clarification. So the first thing I want to mention is that there are kind of 4 big STEM initiatives around the college that I want to kind of clarify. The word STEM gets thrown around a lot. So the School of Science, Tech, Engineering, and Math, the School of STEM, was actually just started July 1st. It's 5 weeks old. And it was formed from the School of Engineering, Science, and Math, joining forces with our applied associate degree programs in information technology. Things like cybersecurity technician, web programmer, networking, etc. So the School of STEM houses a lot of the college's science, tech, engineering, and math programs. So I think we have about 12 or 13 different departments. I'll run through them quickly. So unique thing is that we have both departments that are doing applied associate degree work, preparing students straight for the workforce, and also our transfer departments, preparing students to transfer to 4-year institutions and providing general education classes in science and math for our applied students. So on the applied side, we have civil engineering technology, we have electronics technician and a couple certificates within that. We have electrical engineering technology, which is really a cool program designed to prepare students for transfer into electrical engineering majors. Even though it's in our applied program, it gives an applied degree. We have a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning department, HVAC. You've probably heard of HVAC. And there's some sub programs in there like HVAC apprenticeship and facilities maintenance apprentice. We have our information technology programs department with, I think it is 6 applied associate degree programs, 4 apprenticeships, and a number of certificates. We have electromechanical, which is kind of like robotics and automated manufacturing. And we have mechanical design technician, where the students learn how to design mechanical objects. They would like help mechanical engineers on the job site. On the transfer side, we have the biology department, we have the chemistry department, we have the computer and data science department, and the transfer engineering department, the mathematics department, which also has statistics in it, our physical education department, which has just rebranded as the Department of Kinesiology. And that's because they have done a lot of work to provide courses that prepare students to transfer to kinesiology major at UW-Madison and Whitewater, a couple other places. And then finally, our physical sciences department, which has physics, it has earth and atmospheric science, and astronomy. So those are all of the departments in the School of STEM. So I would say it's not a STEM department, it's a school of STEM. And a lot of people call it a department, but really it's a school with a number of STEM departments. Also contained within the School of STEM is the STEM Center. So that's the second big STEM thing that you hear about around here. The STEM Center is over in the Ingenuity wing, the A wing on the 2nd floor. Is it? No. Is A wing a separate thing? Yeah. Ingenuity wing. And it's actually a suite of rooms. And the purpose of the STEM Center is to provide support and opportunity for students who have any kind of interest in STEM whatsoever. So some of the main things that they do, first of all, the STEM Club is run out of there. And I know when I was invited, people asked about the STEM Club. So there's kind of a hierarchy, right? The School of STEM houses the STEM Center. The STEM Center houses the STEM Club. They have some other student clubs like the STEM Voices Club, where the book club members read about women in STEM. That was a very popular club this year. The STEM Center also has a small workshop with a lot of 3D printers, laser cutters, electronics gear. So a lot of students just drop in there and engage in those fun kinds of projects, and they run little lessons on how to use the equipment as well. So it's open to anyone. We've had, frankly, like business students come in, they have an idea for a business product and they'll 3D print a prototype. We've had students from nursing who wanted to like study up on the anatomy of the heart, and they 3D printed a model of a heart so they could bring that home and look at it and study it. So all kinds of opportunities in the STEM Center. I want to mention that the director of the STEM Center, Kit Carlson, who's also a botany faculty member, she just secured a multi-$100,000 grant from the National Science Foundation. It's called an STEM grant, Students in STEM grant, and it's going to provide money. It's going to provide financial support for students in STEM. So you all should be hearing about that in the next couple months as the NSF finalizes the decision and releases the money to us. So that's a tremendous student support opportunity coming out of the STEM Center. So we've covered 3 of the 4, right? The School of STEM with its multiple, oh, I'm sorry, question, go ahead.
I just had a really quick question. Where coding is under you as well, like?
Yeah, it is.
And then also with the 3D printing, is there any charge to students who you decide?
There's not. The STEM Center charges nothing. So a lot of places would charge you for how much filament you use and just flat out time on the printers. There's none of that. So.
And is there a sign up for using the 3D printer?
Yeah, there is a sign up, right? So I'm not sure of their process right now. Yeah,
When you
drop
have
on
time,
in.
if maybe you could share that with our advisors so that we have that information advanced, or if we want to use it for something
Sure.
to promote Senate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. That's a good way to get the word out. Appreciate it. So
Kevin?
4th thing, oh yeah, question, go ahead.
Yep, you have a couple questions out here. Go for it.
Oh, Lucas, thank you. I'm looking at a screen that doesn't show everyone. So what are the questions?
So
Hassan, if you want to go.
Yeah, sure. I saw another somebody else raised their hand before me, Nohaya. If you want to go first, or
Yes, thank you. Okay, my question is, when you was listening the part of the STEM, I will take my example. I'm student in biotechnology. Is it part of the STEM or is not? Because I know you talk about biology, but not like biotechnology. So just to have more clarifications.
Yeah, so, Lucas White, who just piped up and let me know I was ignoring people, is Dean for the School of Technology and Trades. And the biotechnology program is housed in the School of Technology and Trades. So Lucas, do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, yep. So we have the biotechnology program along with an apprenticeship and a stem cell certificate. So those are all within our school. And kind of similar to how Kevin broke it down, we have programming certificates and diplomas in the construction areas, the manufacturing areas, and the transportation areas. So many of your vehicles, automotive, diesel, agriculture, auto collision for your transportation, construction remodeling, carpentry techniques, and a slew of apprenticeships, your electricians, your plumbers, your bricklayers, your masonries. And then our manufacturing are more the production, your machine tool, your welders, your fabricators, and your quality control there. But to answer your question, biotech is part of us. But was there a second part to your question?
No, that's all. Thank you.
VP Hassan?
yeah. So when Dr. Myris, he said when there's a multi-million-dollar like a scholarship for the STEM Center. I was wondering if you could talk about it a little bit more, and I didn't see any announcement from Madison College about it. Is that like something for this year or the next year?
It's going to be announced formally in October, and all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh, maybe I should not have let the cat out of the bag before Kit had a chance for the official announcement. My understanding is that we are in a green light and waiting for formalization. So that information will be coming out to students, I would estimate, in October at the latest. So I don't have the details to release right now, but they will be coming out for sure. Lots of support for students coming. And I don't think it's multi-million-dollar. I think it's on the order of a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Tim?
And just for clarification about why the delay, so this is a federal grant, and the federal government runs on a fiscal year that begins on October 1st. So you might hear us as a college, some of you who've been involved with Student Senate, we talk about our fiscal year beginning July 1st. Theirs begins October 1st. So that's part of the reason for the delay, is that the staff at the National Science Foundation in this case have to make sure that they have the money for the next fiscal year to appropriate for this award. But their staff communicates to our staff in the grants office and Kit as the principal investigator. So
Yeah.
we feel good, but it's not done yet. That's.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Senator Drew?
Okay, my question is, I love Dr. Kate. I was in her class, the botany class, biology, last semester, but I was just asking, does the funding just apply to the people on the STEM program, or when you take like a science class, you can have like a part of that funding, like?
You know, I'm not remembering the details of the commitment, but I do think that, the students will have to sign up like for some, typically, they're doing like a bi-weekly check-in with different STEM mentors, for example. So again, those details of the commitment on behalf of the student are going to be coming out October-ish.
Oh, okay. So there'll be more details like as into how you can be qualified to get that funding, right?
Exactly right. Exactly
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Any other questions before we turn it back over to our presenters?
Lando has his hand up.
Okay, Senator Dirks?
Hi, so nice meeting you all. I'm a senator here at Madison College. I actually, right now, I'm in Eau Claire, Wisconsin for an NSF funded research experience for undergraduates. So really just, learned a lot these past few weeks. I'm going to be heading home next week, actually. But yeah, just relating to the grant that you all received, congrats on that. It's really a big accomplishment,
Thank you. Hey, Landon, I got to ask, are you in Eau Claire for that high performance computing
Yeah,
workshop?
yeah. I'm working with the clusters right now, the Bose clusters. Yeah.
Awesome.
So you know
And how
about that?
I absolutely do. Yeah. Back when I was in the STEM Center, like 4 years ago, we started promoting that. Is that how you found out about it, through a STEM Center newsletter?
So essentially, my computer science 2 professor, Chris Peterson, sent an email out to all the students in his class last semester, and I was in that class, and looked through the email, went to the NSF website, then I ended up applying, and didn't hear back right away, but I kept in touch and was persistent, and eventually got an interview and got in. So yeah, I'm just
Awesome.
really happy to be here, and yeah, just hearing that this sort of program might be possible through Madison College is really exciting to hear as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously most of the bigger 4-year universities, they have a lot more funding and resources than, some of the technical schools. So just offering this sort of opportunity at technical schools can make a huge difference in the research community at large.
All right. I love that. Thanks. I'm going to follow up with you after this meeting. I want to hear more about your experience, but I don't want to take up the time.
I don't want to take too much time. So yeah, you can
Thanks.
keep going. Yeah, of course.
I just had one other question. With the grant coming on board, is there gonna be an opportunity potentially to, have a student group that, gives any type of advising or any type of feedback? Cause I feel like, Senator Dirks would probably be a great person to be on it. So we tend to, as senators, tend to represent students around the campus and be involved with some of the decision making. So if there is an opportunity.
All right, I'll bring that to Kit. Let me make a note here.
Thank you.
Were there other questions out there?
So now, we do not have any questions. We can turn back over to you for.
All right. I think the last thing I want to mention is I saw in the request to come here to also talk about the STEM Academy. And the STEM Academy is actually an awesome opportunity that is actually not under the School of STEM. It's in our early college program. So I was honored to be a part of the development of that. So the STEM Academy is, it's a program, a 2-year program for high school students. We recruit students in the 10th grade to apply, and if they're accepted, they actually stop going to their high school for 11th and 12th grade, and they come here to Madison College. They do all Madison College courses for 2 years, the last 2 years of high school. It's not a high school that we're running on campus. It is high school students taking college classes. They're in there doing college algebra, calculus 1, chem 1, et cetera, building up those college credits that transfer. So it's been tremendously successful in my mind. We have about 260 students a year on our campus who are high school students in the program. They are building anywhere, from 30 up to over 60 credits. In fact, I remember in the pilot group, there was one student, she applied to UW-Platteville Engineering as a first-year student, right? You don't apply as a transfer student because you don't have your high school diploma when you're applying, even though you've done all this college work. So she applied to Platteville, and she had something like 64 credits she wanted to transfer into Platteville as a first-year applicant, and they almost denied her because they thought she was making it up. They're like, how can a high school student have so many credits? And I actually had to get on the phone with the admissions person and explain it. So there are students who are going to great places. I think recently we had a student go to MIT, for example. I think the best part of the program, however, is that it is really good at finding untapped STEM talent in the high schools. Students who maybe didn't think of themselves as a biology major or a chemistry major, but we find them and we bring them in and they learn, hey, I can do college coursework, I can be a science major, and they go to UW-Madison, for example. We have a tremendous number who go to Madison, and they had never thought they would go to college. So that is the best part of that program. So I think we should all be proud of that program. I'm proud of it, but it is not in the School of STEM. Yeah. So I could, connect you to people who are more directly related if you have more questions about that.
Awesome. You can turn it over to.
One quick question. Okay, so the STEM Academy is underneath your program, but
It's not, it's
not
completely
involved.
separate.
Okay,
So
so
those students, of course, take tons of classes out of the School of STEM. They're taking calculus, chemistry, genetics, whatever.
I could.
Go ahead.
It's nice to report to
Yeah.
the virus.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can reach more of the STEM students. We had a STEM student that was really involved with Student Senate and amazing. Just when I was coming on, and if we could tap their interest more, I think it's Laz I talked to over at Goodman South at one point. And I know he let some of the students come up to our Student Senate, what do you call it, like open house. But we're just trying to also figure out how to touch them more because that leadership opportunity that Senate offers, even with our committees that we have available.
Yeah, so most of the students spend their first year at the Goodman South campus. So as you, Student Senate, think about it, think about, you know, when you have your open houses there and working with the student life team, to get to the Goodman South campus, because that's a great opportunity to engage with the STEM students in their first year. In their second year, most of them come here to the Truax main campus to begin to take their coursework. And so obviously this is a much larger place, so it's a little harder to find them, but you can definitely work with Shauna Rasmussen is the director of the early college office, and she can help assist you all with sending specific communications to those students who are in the STEM Academy program to invite them to the open houses that we might do here at the Truax campus, where we try to generate awareness of Senate participation.
That would be great. Or if there's any type of special orientation where we could send a member to it to hand out information.
And Shauna would know that too. I think they might do a separate introduction to college week type activity, but I'm not 100% certain.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Chairperson Tao, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. Does this program accept international students?
So this student is focused on high school students who have a partnership with Madison College, because the high schools are contributing funding to support their students taking classes here at the college. So those school districts use a process that they've set up to identify which students they will send on to Madison College. So it's typically that local school district's determination and what process they use to identify students. And so our biggest partner is the Madison Metropolitan School District. They're obviously the largest school district in the colleges district, and they were the initial partner, but we've begun partnerships with Sun Prairie and Verona, I believe is the other one.
Yeah, exactly right. And a couple students from Lodi and Poinet here and there. Yeah.
And so we do have students who are not part of the academy programs, high school students who physically come to Madison College to take classes that are outside of our academy programs. So they might be just taking one or two courses, something that might be interested in that their high school doesn't have the ability to offer an advanced chemistry class because they don't have the labs. Okay, well, they could come to one of our colleges and take that class with the support and permission of their high school.
I got two questions. So are we still good on time? Do we need to request time?
I think we're good on time. We'll move to a couple more questions. I want to give Lucas also.
Yeah, Lucas needs time.
Yes.
I will wait. No, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Fair?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any further questions before I turn over to our other presenter, Lucas White? Seeing none, Lucas, the floor is yours.
Well, and honestly, I just appreciate the invite. Some of the programs, I guess, that are in the School of STEM used to be in what we had, the School of Applied Science, Engineering, Technology, and we kind of split them into two. So we're an adjacent partner to the School of STEM. I didn't come prepared with anything because most of the questions revolved around the four STEM eggs, but here to again explain what we have, what we do. So we are very applied programs, career-based. There are some transfer opportunities, but I'd say predominantly that career focus. As I mentioned, we have the biotechnology applied program. Their space is in the health building, which is a newly renovated space. So definitely, even if you're not interested, just go check it out as a new place to hang out. Then in our construction areas, those are mostly at our Commercial Avenue campus. Again, those are those registered apprenticeship programs, your plumbing, electricians, voice data, video, and telecommunications, and bricklaying. Those are typically anywhere from 3 to 5 years long in length, which is very exciting, but the entire time you are working, getting paid. So another great opportunity to further your education, preparing for the career. And then over there also, if you've ever driven by Packers Ave or ridden the bus, those tiny homes, those are part of our construction remodeling program that also has some embedded credentials within it. One of their big projects, of course, is to build the garden sheds that then we sell into our communities, as well as work with a client on creating a tiny home. So those are truly created with the students in that program, which is really exciting. And then we do have the manufacturing, the welding, metal fabrication, quality control, and machine tool. Those are kind of in the wings at the Truax building. all of our programming right now is in high demand. I'm sure you've heard just the shortages right now in many of these industries. So that's extremely exciting for folks to know that they're entering a program that will lead to employment, if not multiple job offerings. And then finally, those transportation programs that we have, which is the diesel and heavy equipment vehicles, agriculture equipment technicians, and then your auto collision, which is more the aesthetics, your fender benders, when that happens, and the automotive technician and technology are more your, brakes, suspension, engines, the heart of the vehicle, I guess. So literally the floor is all of yours. We are always open for folks to come down, tour, check things out. There's job postings if that's an area you're interested in. But if there's any questions you all have, I would be willing to take those on the fly.
Floor is open for any questions.
Yes, so my question is, so yesterday I had the pleasure to actually be part of the director or district board. Thank you for clarifying. And in representation of my president, so they talk about the skills, Skills USA, and just it was interesting how students are being developed to actually represent Madison Technical College with pride. And it was an idea that the advisor, I communicate to the advisor, and we structure it pretty well. So with the director, Ellie, she actually looked at the list for the IT. So we can actually, my intent is to actually have a club to actually build the skills set so we can actually compete on the skills USA with the IT department representing that field. And I heard about MATA club a few semesters ago.
Thank you. Yeah, keep that up.
And the gentleman that actually provided me with that name was Alex, the Wolfpacky
Coordinator.
staff. Yes. So my question is how you foresee that? Like what do I need to actually have to be able to present to you to actually make this happen?
So I think we're continuing to work with Director Ellie Rome. So she's aware who the advisor is to the Skills USA program here. And because the Skills USA participants come from multiple disciplines, as you heard last night, so we have had students compete in CNC machining, in robotics, in cabinetry and millwork, in metal fabrication, and I'm probably missing some disciplines. And so those students are usually working with a faculty member, sometimes not all as a faculty member at Madison College, because there are faculty members at other technical colleges that help coach students, and some of our faculty help coach students from other colleges as well. And so I don't know the intricacies of how we identify which disciplines we can compete in, because I'm not familiar enough. I see which students come and participate. I know what programs they're in. But I know in certain years, cosmetology has been another program that we've had students participate in. So the full array of opportunities, which may include IT, might be available. If IT doesn't fit in that bucket, Business Professionals of America, BPA, is another organization. President Brito actually was down there with students in Chicago for their national competition at the end of May. There might be opportunities for that skill set with that association. And Director Rome, again, could connect you to the advisor for the Business Professionals of America, or BPA.
Awesome. So, yeah, thank you. The MATA, did you actually hear about that? That was
Yeah, MITA is a student club that has IT faculty members as advisors. So I think you can sign up to be a member of MITA through the regular process, and I've lost track on what technology.
Wolfpack Connect is the
Wolfpack Connect. Okay.
So that's where, if they haven't put their student organization information yet for the upcoming year, I'm sure they will be doing so soon.
Yeah, the intent is to actually recruit students, add additional showcase to the services that Madison Technical College provides. So and help retention as well, being able to actually give students the ability to perform in a competitive environment. So thank you. Appreciate it.
It's very impressive too. I'm sure you heard kind of the results. We do amazing at the state and national level in Skills USA. As kind of Tim mentioned, we have many, many areas that we offer through Madison College, but there's something like 60 or 70 different Skills USA competitions. So again, if you're interested, that there is a possibility of getting those there. Fortunately, we've actually had some of our faculty be selected as the World Skills. So it's basically like the Olympics of Skills USA to be the coach and the mentor. So again, they're not necessarily Madison College students, but they selected our faculty because of their expertise to represent a United States individual in their particular discipline. So I cannot say it enough of get involved in anything and everything. And this is just another pathway if this is an interest of yours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go to Senator Crowder. We have time for 2 more questions. So Senator Crowder, the floor is yours.
I have 2 questions. One is, in regards to the garden beds, I was just hoping that you guys might, utilize the Wolfpack Connect to put that information on there, because I would totally buy one of those in the future, and there might be other people that would. And then I had an opportunity, I'm not a coding student, but I went to the DAT conference last week. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's literally called the DAT conference. But it's pretty amazing. It's a coding and IT conference, and I can share some literature at a future time with you. It's only held in Wisconsin and in Texas once a year, and they had students there, but no Madison College students except for myself and my friend who is a coding student, who also volunteered. Like they had Google there as one of their speakers, someone from Google. It was pretty amazing.
Wow.
And they give a discount for students attending, and the workshops, even though it's a coding conference, they had like leadership workshops that I went to and entrepreneurship. I can talk some days, not always. So even like myself, I was able to find things to do, and they had this really thing called sessions, where you could go in the room, sign up something you're interested in, sit at a table, and a group of people were talking about it because they were all interested in the same thing.
Cool.
And it was huge.
Yeah, yeah.
But Kalahari, it was at the Kalahari. So
Oh,
you can
wow.
look up THAT, and it does not stand for anything, by the way.
Sounds
it's
very
pretty
computer
awesome.
sciencey. Yeah, I would appreciate information on that. And Lucas, go ahead.
I was just gonna say thank you for that Wolfpack Connect. I, was not aware, but I think that's an awesome idea for some of the things that students would be aware of. So thank you for that. Go for it,
Yeah, and
Kevin.
I'm gonna ask I was gonna say, I'll ask our IT faculty if they're aware of that conference as well.
Is there a welding apprenticeship, by the way?
There is not a welding apprenticeship. The welding program is a 1-year technical diploma, so 9 months. They start in the fall and they finish by May. What's kind of adjacent to the welding apprenticeship, if you go kind of on your way to Milwaukee, there's a brand new building called the Steam Fitting 601 building. They do both the construction as well as kind of the service, which is more HVAC. So that's kind of the apprenticeship associated with welding right now is steam fitting, but it also has forks where people that are into that welding. There's iron worker, which is more kind of towards your DeForest area. They have their own training facility. And depending on the metals, there's even sheet metal, which has their own facility kind of right outside of Sun Prairie. So Madison College doesn't necessarily have an apprenticeship in welding, but there are very close training facilities in our area.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions for Kevin or Lucas? Well, Kevin, Lucas, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to send you a copy of our minutes and a recording of this, just so that you have it in case anything comes up. And then for anything, especially with the Wolfpack Connect, Lucas, I can connect with you, myself, and our director, Ellie Roman. We can work on getting that information out there, because I think it'd be really cool. So,
All right.
yeah, you're both welcome to stay on if you'd like to go. It's entirely up to you, but thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for
Thank you.
inviting us. Yeah. I have a prior commitment, so I'm going to slot away. Thanks, everyone. It's great seeing you.
Thank you.
See you, Lucas.
Thank you. Yep. Take care, everyone.
So at this time, we will turn on over to President of Student Affairs, Casper, and I will pull up your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the almost start of the upcoming 24-25 academic year. Technically, the summer semester is our first semester in the academic year, but I think most of us really feel that fall begins the school year proper. Have a number of items to update you on this evening. And so appreciate everybody who's both here and joining us online this afternoon as I go through a couple things. The first thing I want to start with is an update on some construction projects. So last year with the Student Senate, I had made mention in September or October when I visited that we were doing some planning work for some of our student service office areas. And we continued that work through the last academic year and into the early part of the summer, and finally had finalized some designs for our facilities related to some of our student service areas. What we've got on the screen in front of you, or if you're on your device, hopefully you can see this, is we're going to focus on two different areas of our college student service areas. The first is the D block. So that's that area across from the cafeteria where there's the Student Success Center desk that many of you may be familiar with. We're going to begin a remodel of that area beginning in December of 2024. So toward the end of this fall semester. And then that project should be completed by August of 2025 in time for the start of next academic year. The second area, which will be the second phase of this project that'll be impacted, is the area in the gateway. That's where the present enrollment services offices, financial aid, and where the payment center is. That project will begin roughly in the fall of next year, fall of 2025, and should be completed by January of 2026, roughly in time for the start of the spring semester. Next slide, please. So why are we doing this remodel project of these areas? So over the years, we've heard from both students and staff that there's an interest in improving those facilities to really better serve you, our students. Certain spaces, particularly those in our D block area where our academic advising offices are, the disability resources offices, the counseling department. Those are offices that are basically original to this building, built back in the 1980s. There really haven't been any substantive changes to the look and feel of those spaces, even as other parts of our college, you've seen a more modern look and with better technology and with better soundproofing for purposes of having conversations with students and between professionals serving students. So there's definitely a need to renovate that space. A couple of years ago, we began some planning to look at redoing those spaces, and due to budgetary constraints, we weren't able to advance those projects. Coming out of the pandemic, as you may be aware, there was a lot of pressure on construction costs, and that caused us to have to put that on pause and then re-engage in a process where we think we can fit within the budget for this particular project. So what are our goals? We're really focusing on how do we enhance, again, that experience that you, our students, have with us in these spaces, increase the visibility of the services so students are more aware of what professionals are working where. And we want to improve access to complementary student services. So what does that mean? This might be, in my mind, the most important part. Presently, students may work with professionals in the gateway area, right, around questions of financial aid and admissions to academic programs and their courses. In this remodel, we're going to have those staff professionals in the D block area associated with the academic advisors and disability resource specialists and the career advisors, so that students who sometimes experience, they come to the gateway or they come to the Student Success Center and they've got a question and they're asked to go walk to the other part of the building to work with a professional on the other side. We're putting those folks together, and I'll get into that in just a moment. And the final thing we wanted to do is just sort of better balance student privacy and transparency. And again, I'll kind of walk through some of that when we get into the next slides. So please advance. So what informed us of a lot of these changes? Again, your feedback and the feedback that your predecessors have provided to the college through student surveys like the Student Satisfaction Index, a survey we did a couple of years ago of our prospect students with a marketing firm called KW2, staff surveys, engagement sessions that the design team did with staff, and some focused conversations among leaders in student affairs. And so the things we heard there on the other side are some of the things I just talked about. So why don't we get into the next slide, please? So we know that we're going to be doing this construction, and when we do that construction, we're not going to be able to access the D block space. And so we are working to enter into an engagement with our foundation, Madison College Foundation, to access the facility across the street that's in that red box there, where we will be offering our services in the spring 2025 semester in person for students with their academic advisors, disability resource specialists. It's where our RISE programs will offer their programming, both their one-on-one services to students as well as programming for groups of students. It's where our counseling department and Dean of Students Office staff will also be present, in addition to colleagues from the Enrollment Center. While we have all those staff over there, we will be moving some of our staff from the D block into the gateway. And those are the staff in our career and employment services area and our transfer service areas specifically, because they often bring in external partners, either employers or university partners, to come and meet with you all as students. And we want to do that in a high traffic space. And so we're going to keep that here in the Truax main building, but it'll be out in the gateway main entrance area for that programming. And the staff professionals will be in that area where currently the financial aid and admissions teams are. Next slide. So I wanted to begin to provide you some drawings that the architects have done of what this space will look like. So this first drawing, the front desk to our student sort of services area, is where currently that student success center desk is, right across from the cafeteria. So it's going to have a different look and feel. You'll still have two people there to greet you. But as you see on the right side of that picture, there's going to be a series of 3 private offices. One of them is going to be the payment center, so students paying their tuition and other fees. We'll have a space to do that. And then there'll be 2 other offices for advisors or other staff professionals to meet with students in a more private space. On the left side of that, you can kind of see, but it's not the greatest image, but there'll be 4 separate stations there with some sort of private dividers. So it's not completely private, but it offers a quasi-private space for students to ask their questions of professionals regarding financial aid or admissions questions, or scheduling an appointment with other professionals in the area. That first view is just a corner view on the top there called the Cafe Mall corner view. You're looking at the career and employment services area. They're going to have a little more glass space there. The next image is of the north hallway, kind of looking from the intercultural exchange down the hall. And then the final image down there is that corner of that east and north hallways. And I'll show you some more images on the next slide of what that's looking at. So down that north corridor, we're going to have a revised space for the RISE programs. It's going to be designed specifically for those programs. That present space, many of you may know, is an old classroom, and it's worked well for the last year and a half or so that we've had it, but we're really going to have a space with more glass, so there'll be more visibility into that space, inviting students into there. Related to that are Promise programs. So we have a set of programs. First one focused on recruiting high school students to Madison College and having them become scholars of Promise. That office is currently located back by the stairwell between the public safety department and that stairwell downstairs. It's really disassociated with all the other student services programming. So they're going to have a space with the other student service programming. And then as you proceed down that hallway, you're going to find our veteran services are going to be offered there. And we're going to be combining what are 2 separate offices now. One is the Veteran Services Office that's in that D block area. It provides a lot of support, one-on-one advising support for our veteran students. But their financial benefits are managed in the financial aid department, which is in the gateway. Both of those service providers are going to be located in a single space for our student veterans. Next slide. This is a diagram of providing you an overview of the space. And I'm going to step up to the screen because I think it'll be a little easier to talk this through. What up here is the intercultural exchange. That's not going to be greatly impacted in the spring semester by this construction. So in the spring of 25, when the rest of these people are going to be moved out into the foundation center or into the front of the building in the gateway, the intercultural exchange will continue its operations. We will be building probably in the summer of next year, an additional office there for an additional student life staff person that's being hired this current year. Down here in this green color, that represents our career and employment services and our transfer center services. We're going to put the career closet in that prominent corner there. So that's an opportunity for students to access clothing and apparel for their professional future needs. It's going to include a storage area and a small fitting room for students to try on that clothing and make a decision as to whether or not they'll take it with them. We're going to create a programming space here for both working with employers and students or university transfer partners and students. So it's going to be a more dedicated space for both those purposes. And the rest of this in the green area is the staff offices of both the academic advisors and those career and employment service advisors. Up here in the orange, this is the Dean of Students office, and that office consists of colleagues who work in disability resource services. And there's an alternative media center, so that helps take student materials and makes them accessible for them if they've got issues with accessing materials. There'll be some support staff in that office, and then there'll be the disability resource advisors themselves over here. On the other side, these offices here, these are where our counselors are going to be. Thinking about those issues of privacy, oftentimes, right, when a student's meeting with a counselor, that's sort of a little bit of an anxiety-producing experience. They want to perhaps not have everybody know that they're meeting with counselors. And so we'll be able to have them access into this more private space because there's going to be a door here with some glass that's not transparent like the one here, but will have some of that grayed out or smoked out look. So students can access those professions. These will be the other Dean of Student offices here for some of the staff that report directly to our Dean of Students. These areas in the blue, these represent our different RISE programs as well as our financial aid staff. So up here you saw the nice pictures of the RISE programming space. That's it. That's the Scholars of Promise program. So this is the Veteran Services offices. The RISE staff themselves will have offices on the interior of that larger space. In here, we're going to have staff members from the other areas of student access and success that work with students as our success coaches, as well as individuals from the financial aid. This area in the purple, it's not part of student services, but presently there's some offices for veterinary service technician program, faculty offices. Those are going to be remodeled too. That remodeling work is going to start probably in the middle of fall semesters with the facilities. Gateway. So again, this project's not going to kick off for another year. But the Gateway is going to have some more open spaces here because the staff in there really wanted to have some of that nice natural light that you see when you walk in there, get into their space. Their space is not a lot of natural light today. We're going to do some things that I didn't show. Well, you do see here a little bit. We're going to create some fake ceilings that come down because there's a really, really tall ceiling in there. When you walk in there, you feel like you're walking into a warehouse. Which isn't ideal for the staff professionals or any students who might be meeting with anybody back there. And so these spaces again here, when our project is complete, is going to house our enrollment services staff members who don't necessarily directly work with students on a day-to-day basis. Those professionals are going to be over in that space across from the cafeteria. And some of the financial aid staff that, again, don't directly work with students, but handle a lot of the information technology, programming, and compliance work associated with financial aid on behalf of the college. This is going to be their office spaces here in the front of the building. So again, we've really tried to put all those services that you and your students use on a regular basis in one place. So it's a better experience for you all. And that was the main objective of this remodel. Excellent. This is just the overview of what that space is going to look like in the future. This beige color are those enrollment services specialists. Dark blue here is our recruitment team. So we do have those folks, and they primarily are working out in the community and at high schools, but they do need a place when they do come to the office, the college, they need an office. And the lighter blue are those financial aid professionals. In the spring of next year, oops, sorry, go back to one thing. No, that's okay. In the spring of next year, there's this corner conference room that you may see. We're going to be doing a lot of that programming with our university partners and career and employment partners in that space next spring semester 2025 through the summer, temporarily. that concludes the presentation. So I don't know if there's any major questions at this time. I will say we're going to have continued communications to you all as students as we get closer to that transition. So students are aware that services will be relocated across the street and which specific services those are. We're going to start that communication with you all and the new students in a letter. They'll be going out probably next week or very early the following week. But then again, we'll use other communication channels, not just emails, but also other visible activities across the college to make you all aware of what's happening and to make sure that other professionals who don't necessarily work in student services, like the staff in our school dean's offices and other locations, also have awareness so that if you as students come in and have questions about where do I find the academic advisors? Oh, okay, it's March. They're now across the street at the Foundation Center, and you can either schedule to meet with them in person or virtually if that's your preference. So that concludes that part of my presentation.
Vice President Hashmi, you have a question?
Yeah, so I have 2 to 3 questions. My first question, is Madison College considering any outside, like not activities, but any outside, like, so like where's the gateway area is? I saw that they have removed the trees. I know that in Wisconsin, winter can be very harsh, but there's also like better months, like summer and fall and spring. I was wondering if we could make more benches there and more like things that students can sit outside. Because if you go outside the building, you just go to the parking lot. But I was thinking like why there's not a thing that student would sit outside and hang out and like maybe do homework or something like that.
Yeah, I don't, this project hadn't focused on the outside of the building, but I'll bring that to the attention of Sylvia Ramirez, who oversees our facilities team, so that they can give consideration to that. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. My second question, can we do something about, so I work at the vet tech area, and that area is pretty old since the building was basically built. Is there a possibility that will also, could you bring that issue to the higher people?
They are aware of that issue. I do know that. I'm not involved in all the facilities planning, just that associated with student affairs, but I know that is an issue that our provost, Dr. Beth Giles, has met with, I believe you all in the past. She too is aware. So, but thank you for sharing it again, but yes.
Chairperson Tao, question? Okay. Senator Carter.
More of a comment, piggybacking off of VP, still terrible with names. Yes, thank you. I haven't seen it at a college, so I'm not stealing the idea from a college, but I think it would be really cool to have at a college. I believe it was a park on the west side of Madison where they had like little things around the park where you stop and you can like do a little brief exercise. I can't think, it's not, I'll get the park name. But they also had kind of like a, not necessarily a walking, I mean, I guess it's a walking exercise thing, but they were like materials that could stand the weather and all of that. And I just think something like that would be really neat too, because I feel like at times you want to step outside the building and get some fresh air. And yeah, you want to walk around the building, but it would also be cool just to be able to utilize some of those type of things. I know I'm not describing it very well.
No, I understand. I've seen these at different parks that I've been to. And so I've got a sense of what you're speaking about. Sometimes they're like they're balance beam. Sometimes it might be a pull-up bar I've seen in different places. Is that?
Yep, it's kind of like that. And it's just a few, they're just really neat. And I just thought that would be something kind of like an adult playground.
I understand. Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate it. I'll share that with Sylvia as well.
Thank you.
Senator Dirks.
Yeah, so Dr. Casper, being here in Eau Claire, I've noticed quite a few things just on campus. I don't know if you've ever been out here, but it's a really beautiful campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of greenery, a lot of walking paths, and then also there's quite a few like benches, and like they actually have outdoor classrooms here, which is something I've never seen before. Like, it's pretty cool. I don't know if there'd be any way to implement that sort of thing, with the way Madison is, but I don't know, just yeah, adding little things here and there, like over by the parking lot, like even just a few benches or something for people to like sit and chat and hang out. Like I think that could really help just, help people connect more on campus. But yeah, just some suggestions.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Dr. Casper, the floor is yours.
Okay, switching gears, next topic. Hiring committees, I believe. So if you want to advance the next slide. Thank you. So I know over the course of the summer, Student Senate President Kai Brito has spoken with me as well as Dr. Daniels about students serving on hiring committees, particularly those related to positions funded with the student fees that you and your fellow students pay. So working with our colleagues in human resources and my conversations with Dr. Daniels, we've come up with this language that I've also shared with Director Rome as well as Jason Bearhouse, who's Director of Athletics, where we also have a number of student fee supported positions. And the language that we developed right there, it says a hiring manager may have students participate in the hiring process as committee members of regular, full-time or part-time positions if the recruitment is associated with student fee funded positions. We ask that the student be available to interview all candidates for all rounds as a committee member. We ask the same of faculty, staff, and managers who serve on committees. And before accepting to sit on the committee, be provided a schedule of when the interviews are going to occur so that you're able to evaluate, can you participate? Ask the same of other faculty, staff, and managers. I simply note there that students are meant to be paid for serving on the committee. So that's the language we've developed. We've used the language of may, which in my conversations with President Brito, he always understood that we don't want to mandate that any student have to participate because, for example, if for some reason schedules didn't permit a student to participate on a hiring committee, and yet we still needed to hire for that position, we want to be able as a college to go forward and hire that position. My colleague, Jason Bearhouse with Athletics, they've had students participate as in sounding boards, if you will. That's a term he used, where they would meet candidates for coaches. So last spring, we were hiring a coach for our men and women's soccer team, and he had that candidates for that position meet with the student athletes associated with that program. But the relationship between a coach or potential coach and student athletes is a unique relationship. And we wanted to make sure that we collect student input, but that it might be an awkward position for a student to be in on the hiring committee and maybe not have the coach selected that they preferred, or maybe not like something stylistically about how the coach might organize that particular team and not be supportive of that. So Jason feels, as do I, that it's important that students participate, but maybe not serve on the hiring committee as a voting member, but that we collect the voice through mechanisms like he used this past spring for the men and women's soccer team. So next slide, I just want to cover two more things on that next slide. So like all other members of the committee, students would participate in some training around the hiring process. It's the same training that I've participated in and that other members of hiring committees have. There's an online component, it takes about an hour. There's some content, there's some question and answers that if you don't get the answers right the first time, you have another opportunity to try and complete it, but it takes about an hour. And then the second part, there's a scheduled opportunity where people who have recently completed the on-demand session by themselves get together with a facilitator from Human Resources to talk about the content from the on-demand training, go through some scenario thinking so that they're prepared to serve on the committee. That too is about an hour commitment. The language that I showed on the last slide, we would put into our hiring manager guidelines book. So that's a book that, by definition, hiring managers get from our Human Resources Department. The Human Resources Department manages that book. But as I've talked with Senator Brito about, and I've talked to Director Rome about, we could cross-reference that language in that document in either documents of the Student Senate and or the Student Activities Board. So that could be some future work for us as we get into the fall semester. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions folks might have.
The floor is open for questions. If you have questions virtually, please raise your hand and we can call on you.
Just have a comment.
Senator Crowder.
I really appreciate that all of this is moving forward. I wanted to say, I definitely agree that it's wonderful to know that as students, with the positions that are being funded with student funded fees, that we have some sort of input, if at all possible. And I just wanted to say thank you for helping to move that forward with President Burrito. Will we get a copy of these slides in the meantime, in case we want to start initializing how we want to work that into our, I don't know if it would be constitution or bylaws or anything like that.
Well, so this is university-based policy.
I know, I just don't know if there's some place, like, how do we make sure that the next set of senators
So
are.
we'll upload this to our
aware?
SharePoint to make it available, and we can create something additional instead
Okay.
of like bad name, right? But like important documents, just so we
Okay.
can have them prepared and available.
Or put it as part of our training too, or
We
something?
could, yes.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. You know, I haven't had a chance to really get into the technical deal, but I know, because I co-chair the Student Activities Board, as some of you know, but not all of you. And so I know there's a training module of that talks about, yes, the governing documents of the SAB, but also references other policy or procedure things. And so I was thinking that somewhere like that would be a useful place to educate non-board new members of the SAB, and same for Student Senate. So,
Perfect. That's all I wanted to make sure. I'm always like trying to make sure we
Yep.
can pass it forward.
absolutely.
Senator Ju?
Hey, thank you for sharing those important information. But is that hiring community first? Is this hiring participation we're doing in the HR training? Is it different from the one we were having before? Like how we participated if somebody gets to at student life get to be hired?
No, so the training has not changed in the last 2 years. So if someone has participated in the training one time, they don't need to do it again. So like I referenced, I had done the training 3 years ago when we began it. And since the content hasn't changed, HR has not asked me to go through the training again. So if for some reason someone was on, on occasion, I've been on more than one hiring committee in a year, I don't have to do the training each time. I just have to do it. Is that helpful?
Yes, it's helpful. Thank you.
Other questions?
Okay.
Seeing none?
Seeing none. Final thing to update the Student Senate on this evening. Next slide, sorry.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. So I know some members of the Senate, you've served in prior years, and some of you are new to your Senate service. But I want to start this next discussion item, talk about Madison College. And so on the left side of the screen as you view it, you'll see there our mission statement, which includes our vision and our values. Those were created with a great deal of college input 10 plus years ago. And then last year in the fall, we worked with our Board of Trustees, who had a number of new members on the District Board of Trustees. And they affirmed it, and they made a couple tweaks. But one of the substantive things they added was to our values. So we have had the values of excellence, respect, and integrity in prior years. Last year, they added the value of belonging based on the conversations that we had been having with them about strategic planning and Vision 2030, along with the own experiences that they've brought in as members of our Board of Trustees who were, again, newer to the college and had not participated in that work 10 plus years ago. So Vision 2030, for those of you, again, who have been on the Senate last year, you may have heard, and from my colleague, Dr. Mark Thomas, or other members of the cabinet about Vision 2030. We went through a process that really began kind of in the middle of the fall semester and continued through the spring semester of last year to engage you as students, with faculty, staff, and employees, with community members of our college district, in thinking about what does Madison College want to be focused on in the next 5 to 6 years. That evidenced itself as 6 strategic commitments. So these are sort of like at a 50,000 foot level. They're things that we as a college want to be focused on in our planning and actions and activities in the next 5 to 6 years. Those were adopted in May of 2024 after that work had been completed, which included work with the steering team, which included Senator Crowder was a member of that team, along with some faculty, staff, and managers. A subcommittee of our Board of Trustees also worked with Dr. Thomas and Dr. Daniels in finalizing those commitments. Wanted to call out the first two to your attention because they talk about making our college a preferred choice for individuals, right? A place where people will want to come and feel that sense of belonging and feel that sense of welcomeness. The second commitment I wanted to call out this evening is that talking about our desire to remove historic barriers to the access of students and their success at our campus, and making sure that we're updating systems and policies and practices to ensure that they're equitable. So these are some things we will be continuing to talk about as we move forward with discussions about how to unpack that planning associated with those 6 commitments. But I wanted just to focus on those 2 first this evening as I step into the next slide, please. So the Identity Impact Team. So again, those of you who've been on the Student Senate have heard from myself, Lisa Luchka, who works in our Human Resources Department, as well as Deanna Havey, who's a project manager, on the work of our Identity Impact Team. This is a team of individuals that the college convened in 2021 with the assistance of our then Vice President of Equity and Inclusion, Lucia Nunez. And our colleagues in Human Resources and our colleagues in our Enrollment Services area, we're both thinking about some of the same questions. How do we better understand who our employees and students are? And how do we gather that information so it can be used to inform our policies, practices, and procedures? So that group met over about 1.5 years, and they came up with some questions we wanted to collect about data. And so when we looked at the data that we collected about you, our students, and our employees, they made some recommendations that went into effect last academic year. The first is that among you as students, we're now collecting whether you're a caregiver. Do you have responsibilities for a young person or an older person in your life that you have responsibilities for? That again will help us inform policies and programs we might put on to support you. Previously, we collected what we called gender, but it was really sex. We were really asking people under the term gender if you were male or female. Well, that's not what gender is. Gender is a set of characteristics and attributes that might be masculine and feminine. So we clarified we're asking for legal sex and we're asking for gender identity so people can identify what gender they associate themselves with. We talked a lot last year about name and use. So what is it that you want to be called? You might have, like I do, a legal name, Timothy. I don't use that ever. My name and use is Tim. Not even my mother calls me Timothy, right? But other individuals may have a name and use that's not simply a short nickname, like my example, right? They may have a truly different name that they want to go by. Maybe it's a middle name, okay? But maybe it's a name that's unique to them. That's not their legal name. But we as a college still need their legal name for the purposes of registering them. And if that student's applying for financial aid, they would need to use that legal name for that purpose. So we talked about that last year. How do we get that onto student identification cards and employee cards? And how does it evidence itself, your name and use in the different systems that you might use, your Blackboard, your email, et cetera. With our facilities, that Identity Impact Team, one of the things they talked about was artwork that was more reflective of the students that we serve so we can create this more welcoming environment. And so we've made some actions in that regard, starting with our Goodman South campus, where that was really at the heart of the design of that facility to have art representing the different students and communities that attend that campus. We've done that in recent years in partnership with some of the programming that's happened. We have an affinity group, Black Women Affinity Group, BWAG. They've put on an annual art exhibition. I'll just purchase some of that art from Black women artists featuring Black women, and you'll see that across this facility in particular. More to come on that. But what I wanted to talk about tonight, next slide, please, relates to signage and creating that inclusive environment for our students. So in the name and use discussion, part of the interest around having a name and use is that certain individuals have a name and use that is different than might be associated with their gender or sex. They may identify as non-binary, right? They may identify as a member of the sex that they are not biologically, right? They may be part of the trans community, a trans woman or trans man. And so we want to make sure that our college is inclusive and welcoming for those students and those employees and those guests who may have those identities. So beginning this later this fall, we're going to have signs at our campuses near our restrooms, similar to the ones here that you see on the screen. Restrooms are for everyone. You are welcome to use whatever restroom is most comfortable and appropriate for you. We will also provide directions to students, guests, and employees of where there are single-stall, gender-neutral restrooms. And this sign here is specific to the Truax campus, but we will have similar signs for our Goodman South campus and our Commercial Avenue campus here in Madison, and our 4 regional campuses in Reedsburg, Portage, Fort Atkinson, and Watertown, announcing the same. There'll be a map, so if you get your QR code, if you need to find the map to better find it, that's probably more true here at Truax because it's a larger facility, but even at our regional campuses, some of them are not laid out a perfect square. Mapping might help those individuals find their restrooms. And we'll have an FAQ there to respond to any questions that people might have about this practice. And so I wanted to provide you this update because this is something, again, new that people will begin seeing at the end of September. We'll have additional communications about this, but it really doesn't reflect anything that's different about the college because today individuals can use the restroom of their choice. Yes, they're labeled men and women, but we don't have as a policy or practice any prohibition against people using the restroom of their choice. The signage is just making that clear to, again, our students, faculty and staff, and other guests who come and visit our institution. So with that, I'll take any questions.
I know the Goodman South campus only has those signs up for gender neutral bathrooms.
Yep. Yeah, and some of those are definitely those single stall general neutral. We've got some here at our main campus too, and some of our regional campuses have those. And so, yeah, we've used that signage since we started creating those, and those types of single stall restrooms are newer to our institution because it was designed, you know, for the gendered larger bathrooms with multiple stalls.
Senator Crowder?
I just wanted to mention, I was at the Portage campus yesterday, and I took the time to do a tour there, and they had their restrooms mentioned, listed as general neutral. So I thought that was really impressive, and I was not expecting that, so I was very impressed.
Well, thank you for that feedback. That came from that identity task force too. How do we label those restrooms? And so they said gender neutral was the best way to label those restrooms. So thank you.
Other questions? Questions do arise afterwards. Dr. Casper, is there anyone they should reach out to? Should they reach out to you directly for questions?
They can reach out to me directly. And if I don't have the answer, I'm always happy to connect you to somebody who is smarter and more knowledgeable than me about that issue.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, with that, thank you so much, Dr. Casper, for being here and these updates. We greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
As always, you can remain here if you go.
I do need to get home.
Not a problem.
But I appreciate it all. And thank you so much. And good luck with the rest of your meeting. And I look forward to seeing you all more as the school year starts properly.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now moving to agenda items. Team building activity, Vice President Salifo.
Yes. Okay. I think a couple of weeks ago we talked about doing some icebreaker during like our meeting. So that would be like a way for us like to just chill a little bit and come back to business. So the subject for this week icebreaker is, what is your favorite song, and who artist sing that song and why you love this song? Are we start? Yeah, my favorite song is Angel Number. The artist is Chris Brown, and I think that talking about like healing this song. So every time that I hear that song and I probably like anxious or overthinking, that always like make my soul and my mind to be like really calm. And I think it's why I really like this song. So yeah, I don't know who wants to go next.
Okay.
Senator Crowder?
First, I had a quick question. Do we have to suspend business? Do we have to suspend, I thought it was called suspend business. We usually do that when we're doing, I guess it's on the agenda, so disregard.
This is something new, so we are going to see kind of how it feels along with it. So, yeah, for this, we will not suspend business, but we will take that into consideration in the future, depending on how it goes. But thank you.
So I have two favorite songs. They're both kind of old, of course. Actually, I have a lot more than that, but we'll go with this two. I love LL Cool J, I'm Bad. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, I play that because it just reminds me, or I think I just love saying, I'm bad. It just kind of pumps me up. And then my other one is just as bad. I love Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, because I just need those pump up songs every now and then. I don't know if anybody remembers the Rocky movie, you know, where you basically just power through, get through it. So those are my two, I guess my biggest ones. But I got a lot more. I'll shut up.
Nice. Can you write the name of the song in the group chat so we can do like some playlist and play all of these songs together? So who wants to go next?
Me,
Okay.
I like the song Calm Down by, I love
Remo?
Afrobeats because you
Mhm.
always have something to dance with, and sometimes school can be stressful. So with the songs Calm Down, I like it because it reminds me to slow down and just chill. By Selena
Nice.
Gomez and Rema and
That is nice.
yeah, Afrobeats are nice. They make you to calm down. So the song is called Calm Down. So it always help me to chill and just, things will be okay. Most of the
Sure.
time, my assignments are loading. Everything is overwhelming. So Afrobeats does it for me, especially the song Calm Down.
That is nice. Thank you. Who want to go next?
Senator Bissonnette?
Yeah.
My favorite song is a really old song from the 70s, and it's called Summer Breeze. And and my favorite artist would be a rap artist. His name is Mac Miller.
Thank you. And don't forget to write the name of the songs and the artist name on the group chat so we can do a playlist and play all of these songs during like training week. Who wants to go next?
Senator Avila?
Yeah, so so I like if I'm studying or doing exercises, I like soft music. So Experience from an artist called Ludovico Einaudi, and it is without no lyrics, just music, piano music. So I really like that. And if I need like a boost of motivation, I'll put some reggaeton from Bad Bunny or some reggaeton from Puerto Rico. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone want to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
So my favorite song is Family by Popcorn. It talks more about family. So I really love my family. So yeah, it's a nice song. It's a dancehall song. Jamaican.
Nice. Thank you.
Popcorn?
Yeah.
Did you say popcorn? I love popcorn too.
Yes, Popcorn. Family.
Who is next? Chairperson Tao, did you go?
No. I can. So my favorite song is it's not it's like it's a music. It's called the Canon in D. And my favorite artist is Albert Standard. He's a naturalist.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Linda, you wanna go next?
Yeah, so I'm kind of interesting in the fact that I don't really have one particular artist or genre I follow a lot. I kind of just listen to whatever I feel like is my mood, or like, sort of, how I'm feeling or what I've recently seen. So like my favorite song right now is probably Bye 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 by NSYNC, because I just saw the new Deadpool movie with some of my buddies the other day, and I don't know, it's just a very catchy song, very upbeat. Like, I don't know, it's just sort of my mood, like at the moment, I guess, and it like matches it. So I've been listening to that a lot. But yeah, that's sort of why I picked that. But it really does change a lot from day to day. So if you ask me tomorrow, it's probably going to be different.
That's okay.
But
Don't
yeah.
worry.
Yeah, of course.
Landon,
Yeah.
I loved how you spelled out the acronym for NSYNC.
Yeah.
That made me feel old.
Yeah, same.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Oh, of course. Yeah, thank you.
Cole, do you want to share your favorite artist and song?
Sure. So my favorite song, and there's just a bunch of them. I guess right now it's going to be Should Have Been a Cowboy. You know who Toby Keith is. My 4-year-old loves that song. He loves singing it. So there is that. My favorite artist, just in general favorite artist, I'll go with, there's a bunch. I'm gonna say as well Mac Miller. Mac Miller was a very, very good artist.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Do you have someone who wants to speak again?
I don't have one.
He's new, right? When,
Yeah, so he's perspective. So we have a guest with us who's going through the process, Daniel. Daniel, yeah, what is your favorite music and artist?
I don't know, like, oh, I guess I like a lot of rock songs, so there's a lot to choose from. But I do like Eye of the Tiger and Danger Zone, and there's a lot of country that I'm listening to. But the favorite artist, probably Metallica.
Metallica. Awesome.
Nice. Yes, Maggie.
Yes, I love I Feel Good by Barry Hammond, because I love reggae too, because it's another chill music. Like sometimes you wanna talk about feeling good, so reggae is chill, so I love some reggae music.
Nice. Thank you for sharing.
Did we get everybody?
I think so.
And the other VP.
I know also Kai sent me his favorite song. The artist name is also Kai Dream, and the name of the song is Come True. He say he like it because he have like big dreams and he want to make them come true. And also the artist have also the name Kai, but with a H, not like K-I.
I see we got some other ones. But
I love me some Adele too. I love Adele music. Adele, she's very good with her music. And then hello is nice. Hello.
From Adele? Or which Hello? Oh, I thought you were talking about the song, the artist. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody. Go ahead. Go ahead, Felipe. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, like, thank you guys for sharing that. And we will take that song and do like some playlist so everybody can hear like the song that other people like, and hopefully you can have like some fun moment with that.
Thank you.
Okay, move to disclosures and recusals by President Briegel. Which is not here today, so we are moving to reports of officers, advisors, and standing committees. First, Executive Council and President report by President Briegel. He's not here today. Then move to Administration and Finance Committee by VP Tao, no reports. Then Legislative Affairs Committee, VP Hashmi.
Currently no report, but Cole, did we ask
Hello?
Defrozen.
VP Hashmi, are you there? Crowder?
I did want to give one,
Recusal?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure it was known that, I was part of Vision 2030. However, I was not representing Senate. I was on it as a student member.
We will make note of that. Thank you. Appreciate that. VP Hashmi, one more time. Are you present? Are you having technical issues?
Yeah, sorry, I had a phone issue. But the very last presentation that Dr. Casper gave, is it possible to get like a copy of the gender neutral bathroom, like the PDF, like the brochure that he had, like with the QR code and with the like the locations of those new bathrooms?
Yes, so we will be able to get some virtual signage that's being created. My understanding is that'll be set once all other restrooms on campus have been updated with it. So that will be made available to us when it comes to mass distribution of the marketing material. That isn't actually upon us, so I don't know where that will come about, but we will have it available to us, as we'll also have the presentation in our SharePoint.
Thank you.
No problem.
So move to Team Development Committee, VP Sadifu.
Oh, no comment. No report, sorry.
Next is Public Relations Committee, VP Megosha.
So for now, you'll push no report.
And move to Advisor Report, Advisor Kalio Krito.
Yes. Hello, everybody. So just some quick things that I want to provide to you all, just so that we are all aware of it. First and foremost, new senators and VPs, please complete the Blackboard trainings. I know we've had some hiccups with some hiring processes, but not completing the Blackboard trainings can impact your stipend. Honestly, as long as we have them all done by our next meeting, which is our final meeting of the summer, August 22nd, we'll be set. I am auditing them currently. I'm out tomorrow, so Monday I'll be reaching out to folks to see where we are at. Currently meeting with the regional campus managers next week to continue the conversation from our previous GA meeting. Misspoken in an email about our senators at large and the statement process, as well as the voting in. That'll be next week. So not next week, our next meeting on the 22nd. So I apologize for that. Please continue to consider tabling for the involvement fair. I do want to give a special shout out to Senator Bissonnette and Senator Drew for manning the Senate table at the involvement fair, as we are going through a lot of the brochures, a lot of my business cards, and we're getting additional brochures so that we can get them. So getting a lot of good insight And then lastly, just as a new announcement, I'll be serving with VP Magosha as a student life representative for the Textbook Affordability Committee this academic year. Any questions for me? Seeing none, I yield.
Sorry. I was just wondering about the hiring process for the other advisor, or how long before the other advisor might be hired?
So they're currently doing interviews now. It'll be on our, y'all get an email from me next week for it, but just as a reminder from previously, next week, Thursday is when they are coming on campus, the finalists. We do not have a schedule yet. My understanding is once that schedule is made available to me, I will send it out to all of you in a mass email asking if you can be present, to be present, as we do want to hear your voice.
And what areas will they be advising again? I'm sorry. It's been
So
so
you're
long.
good. They're going to be basically the admin over Wolfpack Connect. They're also going to advise ELT, I believe,
Okay, that's what
and do some other additional work alongside that.
Okay. Are you able to tell us who the finalists are?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I think they were making decisions today. They may discuss it tomorrow, but I won't be in tomorrow. So
Sure.
my goal is as soon as I know, I will provide it to you all.
Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, I yield.
Move to reports from special and select committees, student activities report from President Riddle report. Next is textbook affordability committee from Senator Stira Brahman.
They have left, so there's no report.
Move to student parent support group from Senator Crowder.
The student support group met yesterday. We did not have our numbers person there, so our meeting ended early. The biggest thing to note from that meeting was that the child care center is having, I won't say delays because that's not what they said. They just appeared to be a little concerned about the repairs that need to be done, getting done in time because there were some materials that were taking a while and there was also some flooding on the playground. But they've been assured that it's going to be taken care of in time for school to start. And I do know that they were consulting with VP Tina, who's also one of the advisors, or not advisors, but one of the members of the student support group. So we will meet again next month.
Okay. Move to inclusion and belonging coordinator from Senator Jacob.
They're not present.
Okay, next is reports from regional and metro campuses. First is Reedsburg. Report from Senator Stacey Brummer. Watertown, Kirk Bacon, Portage campus from Senator Crowder.
So yesterday, as a orientation leader, I originally went out to Portage campus to make a delivery. But then I set aside, after that delivery, I took time as a senator to introduce myself to the campus manager there, as well as take a tour of the building and just kind of learn what they have available. I also offered to be available for events, including community events, gave them my number. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I made contact with them, and their building looks to be an excellent repair. The only thing that really bothered me was the artwork. The artwork looks ancient there. And I felt kind of bad because I know over here at Truex, we have all of this wonderful, beautiful student artwork here. But as far as what they have going on and how they're utilizing their rooms and how they are making do with what they have at the time, I feel like they're doing a really good job. They have these stations for the computers that go into the desk where you click the button and they pop up when you need them. And so it allows them to rotate rooms and manipulate them as they need them for different areas. And one of the things that we talked a lot about is a program with manufacturing for like high school and middle school students that come in. I think it was more middle school if I remember correctly. And it just sounded really neat. And so I'm hoping to learn more about that in the future, potentially show up to see what's going on and to represent Student Senate. End of report.
Thank you.
Moving to Fort Atkinson, Senator Dirks.
No report at this time, but I will be returning home from Eau Claire on Saturday evening. So I will be able to hopefully get more involved in different Senate initiatives starting next week.
Next one is Goodman South, Senator Bissonnette.
Nothing other than just letting others know when you do sign up for the Wolfpack Welcome. When you're sitting at the senator booth, just be ready to talk to new incoming students. I guess it sounds kind of silly when I say when I volunteer for the Wolfpack Welcome, I kind of didn't really understand what I was really there for, but everyone there showed me what to do and told me I'll be working at the senator booth. So I'm just letting everyone else know if you had any confusion too. Just be ready to talk to the new incoming students and let them know what Student Senate is all about. I met a lot of hopeful students coming in. A lot of them seemed excited about the possibility of becoming a senator or even just coming to meetings to talk about any difficulties or opinions or thoughts that they have attending MATC. So I'm just letting you guys know because I was honestly just a little bit confused. But anyways, it went really great. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Other than that, no report.
Next is proposed from College Assembly and Shared Governance Councils.
So I have the report for College Assembly, just so you know.
First one is College Assembly.
Yep. So briefly, College Assembly met yesterday from about 2:30 to 4. The meeting began with a review of the work by the Shared Governance Implementation Team and what they've been working on. They did do a shout out to previous Senator Matt Karstens, as well as the work of President Brito in kind of reviewing what's all been going on, how implementation is going to work at our college. There was a presentation provided by Dr. Casper, and so I'm looking to get access to that. But for now, being that you all are hired on and are technically employees now, you have access to Matters, and that is where the Shared Governance Implementation Team is going to be updating all of the shared governance information is through Matters as they make their next steps and decisions. Two of the big things that were discussed is still identifying what councils will remain. They are unsure of what shared governance councils will remain, but they are also talking about how will the shared governance council play a role in making decisions, as there is some confusion right now of can the student affairs council make a decision without college assembly approval, being that college assembly is the overarching, or are there too many issues going to college assembly that should be delegated out? Those are the type of questions that are being asked right now. And so as President Brito returns, as he has more background information into that, we are able to provide some insight for ourselves, especially over the areas that we will directly work with. We will work with most. The Student Affairs Council is our big one that we would directly work with, being that we are represented in the Division of Student Affairs. You will also serve on shared governance councils once we have those identified. And as of right now, it's still looking like September will be the time that we identify what shared governance councils will. Senator Avila?
I just want to make a comment. On point with what you're saying. So is the workflow on the actual councils that they're trying to see which one can address, and if it's actually that workload actually be able to be that comedy assessing it properly, having the tool. So that's mainly presentation process too. Just want to point that out.
Thank you. Questions? Seeing none, I yield.
We move to Academic Council, currently vacant, and is Diversity and Community Relations Council from Senator Crowder.
There is no report because we did not meet yesterday. That was pre-planned. We are not meeting until September, possibly. Basically in line with finding out what's going on with the shared governance committees.
Then move to Faculties Planning and Investment Council, currently vacant. Finance Council from President Brito, no reports. Information Technology Council from Senator Avila.
we are actually gonna have a meeting the 22, and advisor will be, I'm trying to see if we can be together so we can actually give you a better, more information related to what is going on. So, so far, that is my report.
And the next one is institutional.
Ask a question about that.
Yes.
And, okay, so this group, this council right here, is that the council that is, doing the laptops in hotspots? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I was just wondering, because I thought I saw a sign downstairs, earlier in the week when we had the orientation that said that they were out of laptops or something. And so I was just wondering if you guys received any type of communication about what the, but then I thought I heard conflicting information last night when I was listening to the call. But I didn't want to say anything because I couldn't to ask, talking about that they were available. So I don't know if anybody knows anything.
They are working on the refresh policy. That's the proper name that they are working on. So it's just taking out the hardware that is outdated and bringing updated one.
That's why.
So that's the whole exchange happening at the moment. So
Wish they would put up more of a note and explain what's going on, because I sent students from orientation telling them that they would be available. And some of them said, you know, I came there first and I saw signs that said the same thing, that it wasn't available.
thank you for that. Senator. Appreciate it.
Senator Beeson next.
Was that, are you discussing, student laptops?
Yes,
Is that right?
that was at the Truex, not at Goodman. Goodman and the other campuses might be different, but at Truex, I had seen signs. And then when I was talking to some of my students, or some of the, not my students, but the students in orientation, they had mentioned that they came earlier and weren't able to pick up their laptop. But they
Okay.
also may not have signed up ahead of time, but there was a sign up there about they were out of Android laptops or something like that, I think it said.
Okay, cause I know I had a semester or I'm sorry, not a semester, a summer class. My class just ended yesterday and I haven't received an email about needing to return my laptop. I mean, of course I am attending school this fall semester, so I'm not sure if this little 3-week break that I have, if they're gonna take it away and then they need me to check back in. I haven't gotten an email yet, so I'm assuming that I'm just gonna need to keep my laptop. So I honestly don't know anything more other than that.
To answer that, we actually, it happens to me as well, and if they actually need to confirm, they will actually send you a private email on the Madison College. So be advised of that, be on the look of it, but I will actually bring it to their attention as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next one is institutional effectiveness council vacant, student affairs council currently vacant, business, new business, move to non-business housekeeping, in-person training update from advisor Khalil Crystal.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We are almost done. We would have had a schedule to provide, and VP Salifu, if I misspeak, please do correct me. However, we have experienced a little bit of change to our training schedule, as has been mentioned for the last couple of meetings by both President Brito and VP Salifu. We are looking to host an in-person training day for all of Senate members, both far and wide, to come to the Truax campus, and we can have a day-long event to just getting to know one another. Again, in-person training, talking about shared governance, really exploring our roles, as I know that's been a lot of questions of, hey, what do I do with this? It's a great opportunity for us to do that and talk about committees. One of the things that we've identified, so the reason I'm going to give this update simply because we cannot provide the schedule, is we have solidified one date, but we are seeking a second date to see if there is more interest and availability to attend that date for us to host our training. So currently, the most identified date that we have right now for the in-person training to occur, that training would take place tentatively from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I believe this is also in our SharePoint, just be advised, is Saturday, August 24th. We are about 60% of all Senate members identified that they were able to attend. Now, where we are currently at is wanting to see if Tuesday, August 20th, from that same time frame, would work. To have everybody come to the Truax campus, give us at least that long of a time to be able to attend. If the day is more opportune for individuals, that will cause our schedule to change again. As one thing that we do have prepared for the 24th is we do have the high ropes course ready to be reserved. But with those of us here, I know that everybody is present. Does anybody, and we're gonna give it a minute, does anybody have any strong feelings of which one they would prefer? Understanding that our Tuesday day would not include the high ropes course, but we would still have our training take place. Senator Crowder?
So would the time frame be the same? And the reason why I'm asking is because I have a library board meeting in Bearable, or would I be excused? Because I would have to leave early. I only have a library board meeting once a month, and it's a mayor appointed position, so I don't want to be not showing up.
You now be the 24th or the 20th?
That would be on the 20th.
Yes, you would be, we would go work with anybody to be
Okay.
present. That's something we can definitely work with you on.
Okay, and it's not until 5:30, but I need an hour to
Yeah.
drive home and
For sure.
15 minutes to recover.
So again, is there any strong feelings of which day that they would prefer?
You
Otherwise-
said August
Sorry, go ahead.
24th?
Yes, August 24th is a Saturday. That was the primary day that everyone identified. And then during executive council, we identified that all execs would be present on the 20th, which was also one thing we were running into. So we wanted to offer up to see if Tuesday it would work.
Okay, got it.
Senator Wilkie.
Yep.
Typed in.
Yep, so Senator Woken says Tuesday would work better for me. Vila, Saturday, Tuesday would work better for Senator Dirks. All right, so with that, again, it's just gonna come down to this vote here, and then we will discuss myself, VP Salifu, and President Brito here in the very near future. But I just wanted to do a show of hands, and I'll tell you when to place your hand down. Please raise your hand virtually, and then in person, if you want to raise your hand as well.
Can I ask a question before you vote?
Sure,
Do you want us to pick one or the other, or raise our hand if we're available for both?
good question. Please pick one or the other.
Okay.
We do already have availability for that Saturday, so that Saturday doesn't, this is more of, do we have more folks that are like, I want to do that Tuesday? It would have to be where we have to be pushing closer to 10, because we are still gaining everyone else's insight that is. Is anybody present? Please raise your hand if you would prefer our in-person training day to be Tuesday, August 20th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Raise your hand virtually, and I will, and in person, if you'd like to raise your hand, I will go ahead and mark these down now.
If I don't have preference, should I raise my hand or?
If you are not raising your hand, then you are not preferring to have that day. You raise your hand for it saying, hey, I'm interested in it.
Because I have no preference on those 2 days, both of them are work.
Okay. All right, you can go ahead and place your hands down. Thank you. Again, we're still gaining additional insight to it. And then you want me to count you as well? To raise your hand there?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know if you.
No, you're good. I saw you.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Nope. You're all set. Just want to make sure. Awesome. I'll take that to President Brito. We will have a decision really, really quick here. That's the best way I can put it. So thank you for that. The last thing that we are wanting to do, and I'm going to quick pull up my screen, is this was a great idea from VP Salifu and President Brito. We've talked a lot about, just what's going on this summer. What are we doing? What can we do? Everything else like that. So with that being said, let me pull this up. We are wanting to do a summer showcase of what did we do this summer. So I will share my screen here quickly. This is also available to you. Here it is. I'm going to go into presentation mode so we can all see. So briefly, you can read on screen. I'm going to paraphrase as you can see it. This slide series is to kind of help us get to know each other and share what we've been up to this summer. We'll have 2 minutes for each individual who does fill this out. We obviously are going to encourage everybody. This will go out to everybody tomorrow in a link. You will get the link from me tomorrow to present on what did you do this summer? The template has some simple format questions to inspire you. Honestly, make it as creative as you would like. The biggest thing is you get one slide. So that's kind of the fun part is, hey, can we make it happen with one slide? So what the slide we want you to use, you can see here, is slide number 2, which I will show you. Oh, wrong one. Here. President Brito created this, add your name, and here are some of the questions that you can operate with. You can also include stuff that maybe you're just like, oh, I didn't know if this was asked, so I'm going to do it anyways. Again, we want you to have fun and be, just have that level of creativity with this. It's a great opportunity for us to get to know one another, and really just get to know a little bit about what did we do this summer since we've all been extremely busy. President Brito had created his already, and so this is one you can use as an example, but also just something cool that you can kind of see and figure out. So, not going to go into depth with this. However, hopefully we can all see this and you will all have access to it when I do share it with you. But please take the time and opportunity to complete this. I will be completing one as well. I might get Ellie to complete one as well, just because it's always good to have our director represented in this. But that is our Senate Summer Showcase. This is due by our meeting on Thursday, August 22nd, as that is when we will be presenting these in our 2-minute fashion. Senator Crowder?
So I was just wondering, is this just going to be a presentation among Senate, or are we possibly going to use these to put maybe on some of the TV screens to introduce Senate to students as they're coming in?
Right now, I'm going to tell you sky's the limit.
Okay.
We started with this. This, again, was VP Salifu and President Brito's idea, and it's a great idea. And I think that, yeah, we could probably work it into digital signage as well. I don't see why we couldn't. So I like the
to
idea.
throw that out there, even if we did like one a week or something, or however.
Yeah, 100%. The Chairperson Tao?
You're going to share the slides with us so that we can update it online.
Yes. I will share the slides with you so you can update online. All right, we'll cease sharing. We will not go into discussion tonight about the Blackboard course number 7. It's pretty self-explanatory, talking about creating a speech and creating advocacy for students. We do that a lot, so I don't feel the need to be redundant. And so with that, I will yield to Chairperson Tao.
Announcements. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, August 22nd in room C2402 at 4:30 p.m. Then remember to complete lesson 8 in the Blackboard course leadership. After adjournment, please stick around for discussion on lesson 7 from Blackboard course. Then we move to adjournment. Is there a motion and second to adjourn?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion from Senator Vila. Do I need a second motion to adjourn?
You need a second. Senator Beeson, that's raising your hand.
Motion from Senator Beeson. Great. The meeting is adjourned at 6:40.
Thank you all for being here.